everybody, welcome to this video. This is December album that I'm sharing here. I have a couple more pages to share with you. As you can see, I'm finishing up page 8 here as we introduce what we're going to be doing. I have pages 1 through, I think 4 already done and on a previous video. But let's take a look-see on what I have now on these next pages. All right, I just wanted to finish up page 8 as we get ready to kind of look at a couple more pages that I have done. And this was a little bit different approach. I don't always go about this way, but this is a full page photo inside the page pocket. And then I wanted to come in here with outside the pocket with a rub-on. So grateful to have found this city sidewalks in the Christmas Spectacular rub-ons. So that was fun because that's exactly what the story was. It's about being downtown and doing some Christmas shopping. So I'm going to pop this in here and then we'll skip back. Thank you for joining me today. Let's start here with day 5. Day 5, I basically wasn't terribly original with that, and I took a page from Allie Edwards, who does a 5 things on day 5. And I really love that because while we're telling the stories of the different stories we want to tell about our Christmas, sometimes we forget to just kind of pause and share either to ourselves, like a little like a little bit of journaling to ourselves, or even just to our book about, you know what, this is what's actually going on right now in life. And so I literally just let 5 things come to the surface of my mind, and I just wrote a couple of little sentences right there. Now this could go anywhere, where I kept this super minimalistic because I think sometimes we need those stories that are just super low key. And so no photo. I just made a little page with a little tuck. I sewed at the bottom here and the top here. And so my book just kind of tucks right in there. I love making those. I should do those more often. I just did a 5 with a little bit of die cut. And then I die cut my 1 through 5. And I purposely wanted different patterns of paper. And I love the way that looks kind of playful, kind of low key, and still fun with the die cuts. And so that is day 5, and that's what that looks like. Day 6. Now day 6 is an ode to Advent. And so last year I did St. Nicholas Day on day 6 because December 6th is St. Nicholas Day. And I thought, well, I don't necessarily want to repeat that because I did the prayers and I added them. I kind of did the same idea. I add them to tags. Really like having that in that book. And so I thought, well, you know what? Let's do the same thing, but with the 4 weeks of Advent. And so I have here, this is my hope tag, and I have a large hope die cut coming. I thought that'd kind of be fun to cut that out and be super big against this, but I don't have it yet. So I added Season of Advent. And then I have my faith tag here with a prayer on the back of it. And these tags are covered with pattern paper. I tried to find a something. Each one of them has a different little something to them to kind of keep them a little eclectic. And then I didn't have anything that said faith, so I typed that up and I trimmed it. I edged it with some ink, and I actually die cut it with a banner die. So that's why it has a really nice V notch in there. Then I tied all of my little word labels, if you will, with the gold thread. And then I tried to find different, I actually don't have a whole lot of ribbon in my stash right now because I was trying to find different kind of ribbon to then make it just super festive and fun and celebratory. That was really the desire there. And then I have my joy prayer is here with the tree, and I had a filled with joy, which I thought was super fun. It's from the ephemera from 49 and Market. So that was a fun tag. And then the peace tag is here, and I just did a ticket, and then I had Peace on Earth is from Tim Holtz ideology stickers. And then I'm just going to confess here because the particular Advent I'm following actually is Hope Faith, and I don't know, I completely just did it wrong, but as far as the composition goes, I'm really in love with the composition. So I spoke, I think maybe either in my Done by December, or I think it was my Done by December series, I spoke about adding in art journal pages this time around. And so this is my art journal page for this week. And I use Heidi Swapp stamps. This is the August Stamp Society that actually became available because it's such a needful stamp in the stash. You just hardly can make a mistake with these alphas, which is one of the reasons I love them so much. So I knew I wanted to stamp out the weeks of Advent. And then I came in here. So let me start from the beginning. So I started with foundations paper, and I've had questions about what do I mean by foundations paper. It's a paper that is under the Vicky Boutin brand, and it's a fantastic mixed media paper. I love how it takes ink. I love how it takes a wet medium. I love how it takes stamping. It's my favorite mixed media substrate, if you will, to work on. So that's what I mean by foundations paper. So I use a foundations paper. I edged it in, I believe it was Rustic Wilderness. This is like my go-to color this year. I'm telling you, I love when I kind of find, this is why it's okay. Another segue. I really struggle. I'm just full of confession today. I don't know why. I really struggle with doing foundation papers. Have I talked about this before? Doing foundation pages. So this is different from this paper. Foundation pages in a December album. I just don't know in October where things are going to go. And not until I get into the moment can I really feel how the story should feel. I had no idea I was going to do this until I came upon day 6, and I'm like, just processing thoughts. So I don't know if anyone needs to hear that or not, but sometimes it's okay to go about any of our storytelling however we need to go about it. I just discovered this about myself finally. I'm like, how come I can't ever? What is wrong with me that I can't do foundation papers? Well, nothing's wrong with me. I just like to actually work in the moment. So that's how this came about. I edged it with the Rustic Wilderness. Don't you love how that ink color prompted that whole little spiel? And then I added in on the edges. I have some, I don't know if you can see this stamp. I have a little bit of stamp. There's this fantastic texture stamp, like vintagey. Oh, I love this stamp down here so much. So I have a little bit of that on the edge. And I think I used the bundled sage. So I had just a more subtle tone coming in. And then I added in rub-ons from the Christmas Spectacular. And I super love this. So that's day 6. Let's go on to day 7. Okay, day 7 is a very interactive page. And I actually, at the end of this video, there's a little bonus section where I will share how I made this interactive. I think I call it a flappable in that bonus part. But what I wanted to do here on my notes, I don't know if you kind of have an idea of what stories you're going to want to tell for your December. I do. And one of the stories was playlist. And then I realized, you know what? I actually am not listening. I have yet to listen to I take that back. I do. This is a playlist. And there's one other playlist that I have listened to, but usually I'm just like plug in the playlist and listen to it over and over again. And this time, yes, I subscribe to Spotify. This is not an ad, but this time I've just been picking songs and just letting Spotify go. And I've super loved the randomness of it. That being said, these particular songs were of importance to me. So I thought, well, that'd be fun to have 4 of them. I put them on my flaps and I added my journaling right in the middle. And like I said, I'm showing you at the end of this video how all this comes together. And as I'm going back and forth in that video, because I did it before I did this walkthrough, I am like super hem and hawing on how to finish my cover. And then I realized, you know what, if you put, this is a note for later, but if you put the story number on the front of this, then you will know what the top flap is. Okay, so just bookmark that for when you see me go a little cuckoo trying to put that together in the video. Yeah, we're here for the laughs for sure. And then because this is what I was thinking here, I knew I wanted, you saw me already do this story 8 with City Sidewalks, but I didn't like how this photo color was playing against this very traditional page here. And I absolutely love this vellum. I'm so glad I picked it up. It's the Star Vellum. It's got this great embossed feel to it as well. If you're a texture person, I love it. So I decided to go ahead and use this so that this is one story right here, Jingle All the Way. I thought kind of went with the songs. And I added this large die cut to the front of it because over here is where I added my vellum. So I cut that out with 2x2 circle punch. It hides perfectly behind the die, which I kind of loved how that worked out. And then I have story 8 right here. The journaling's there. I got it all right. And then die cut 8 and then city sidewalks to kind of celebrate that, which was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for hopping on here and watching this. Next up is the bonus to this flappable page right here. So in this part, I want to show you how I did that. I'm not really quite sure what to call the interactive flip page for story 7. And so my background paper is about 6. It's about 6 1/4, and I think it's 7 1/2. Did I do that? 7 1/2. So it kind of mirrors the previous page. So it's just my background paper. I'm going to take off the little merchandise, little edge here. For this, you basically want to use a 12x12 piece of paper. This is going to be the part that shows, and I kind of felt like it was like some old school wrapping paper. So I decided to use a scoring board for this because because that center part that everything flips out from is 4 inches square. And basically with a 12x12 piece of paper, we are just scoring at 4 inches at every turn. So we have 4 inches there. I'm going to turn this and do 4 inches this way. And then, so I don't know if you can see, you're not going to see there at all, but we have a score line and a score line here. I picked perfect paper for this, didn't I? And I'm now turning it just 1 rotation and 4 inches, and I'm coming from the other side 4 inches. Okay. So then now, because now what I basically need to do is my 4-inch square is right here in the middle, obviously. I want this to be part of my flapping. This is part of my flapping. This part is my flapping, and this part is my flapping. Don't you like my terms? Flapping, super technical. So basically what you have to come in and do is cut right along the score line, and hopefully you can see, if you're doing this at home, hopefully you can see yours better than how I did it. Yeah, I gotta go back and fix that a little bit, but that's okay. So we're taking these corner flaps out, and I am sure I'll be making use of those some other place, some other times, and then just repeating this all the way around. So this is one of those pages where my other pages have been fairly straightforward, not a whole lot of technique going on. And then I get to a place I'm like, you know what would be fun? And so that's basically where this came from. Okay, so now what we're going to need to do is obviously fold these over. It's upside down right now. We'll fix that. And we're going to need to do a little bit of cleanup on our edges because like right here, that's buckling, right? Because that's 4 and that's 4. I need to trim just a bit off of here. I'm not even going to measure it. I'm just going to not use my spatula. I'm going to use a craft knife. I don't know, maybe a spatula would work. Stranger things have happened. So then now that just comes over nice and clean, and I don't really want to have to figure out which flap actually belongs on top, so I'm going to go ahead and trim all 4 of the flaps. I don't have a lot of bulk to put in here, so you know, if you're doing something like this with some bulk, so we have this score there, you're going to come along with another small score so that it can actually hold that little extra whatever you have put inside. Maybe you want to do a photo flip of photos inside yours. Maybe you wanted to hold a shaker. Obviously you can do anything. Sky's the limit. Do anything you want. But mine is a flat fold. Okay, so that folds nice. This folds nice. And then it all comes over. Now I do have a little bit of bulk here going. Okay, so I know what this needs. The next thing you're going to need to do here is just come in at ever so slight an angle. Again, it doesn't need much. I forgot about this part, but this makes sense to me now that I am actually putting this into place. And actually this comes out like that. Because I'm probably actually, let me decide which way I'm actually going to want to close this. Like, what do I want showing on top? I think I want this because it says Merry Christmas right there. So I'm going to work this in such a way that I'm comfortable without this pops open. All right, I got it figured out. Okay, so if you're looking at the paper and the pattern is right side up and you flip it over, right? Well, then what you're going to do is what I've done for my book is I have got everything just trimmed on each of the edges just a little bit so it folds this way. Obviously, only the two flaps are going to fold in such a way because I have a pattern, that goes a certain way. And maybe that's your tip is don't do that. Then I have to have one of these flaps to be in the front. The top flap, the bottom flap cannot. Now I can see my pattern, and let me show you how I'm going to attach it to the page. Okay, so I have my background paper, I have my paper flip, and I have a swatch of some ribbon that is just in my stash. Twine is going to work, baker's twine is going to work, anything is going to work. I'm just taking a really wide swath of double-sided adhesive tape. And I want it, again, because of an interactive element, I want this to be very secure to my background. I'm going to add the ribbon on here first. Would probably behoove one to just make sure there's enough ribbon on here so that, because you can always trim it when you're done if you have more than you need, but it's better to have more than not enough. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's better to have more than not enough. Okay, so just flip that around, and wherever you would want this, I'm going to try and center this. I need to look at this in a centered way. I'm going to give a little more allowance to I'm going to give a little more allowance to this side because that's where my hole punch is going to be taking place. Just tying it up. Cute little interactive piece, and then of course adding whatever to this. Oh, that's super cute. That's fun, huh? Now that I got it figured out, thanks for your patience in watching that. I literally was doing this on the fly right now with you, my friends. So thank you so much for watching. This was day 5 through 8 of my December album 2023. And I'll be back as soon as I have some more pages to share with you. See you in the next video.